What if nothing happened the way we think we remembered it? Would that be terrifying or liberating? This is something I thought about while watching Millennium, a film in which an aging actress named Chiyoko recounts her past but mixes it with the events of her movies. It's also something I think about all the time. What if everything happened differently, or the way we could newly remember something could reorient the past? Some believe that the mind, or the consciousness, is a first-order reality to which matter is both subject and secondary. We don't interpret an objective reality through our minds, an objective reality that exists outside our perceptions. Instead, what we perceive is reality. We invent reality with our minds, a shared, collective reality that we are communally creating. Someone once said that no one has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. If our minds are only so accurate, and our memories are only so accurate, then who's to say that the past happened the way it said it happened? When we tell our past to strangers and friends, and some details are omitted by accident or added for flavor or effect, aren't we recreating that reality? A director's cut of our past, a movie with deleted scenes and an alternate ending. It can be a comfort. If the past does not exist objectively, then everything we lost, everyone we lost, never existed. We never felt that pain, that loss. It was a dream, a misremembered fantasy. But there's more. People who study time often conclude that the movement of time is an illusion. The block universe model states that my birth is out there in space-time. My childhood, my adulthood, my eventual death. Everything in my life is out there in space-time. The universe is a giant block of all things that ever happen at any time. Past, present, and future all exist, and are equally real, but our perception of the movement of that time as an arrow is false. It appears as if Chiyoko is here, today, telling her story, and that her childhood is the past, and what happens later is the future. Time appears to flow and pass, but in the block model of the universe, this is not true. Time, past, present, and future, exists as much as place. Chiyoko is here in the room, and while she's in the room, she can't be outside. But that doesn't mean outside is gone, it's just presently inaccessible. In this view of the universe, the present exists in space-time, and the past exists in space-time. The past is not gone, though, it's just somewhere else. Time is the same as place. My great-grandfather existed earlier than myself, but earlier than is fundamentally no different than behind or out of reach. We may be able to travel through time, but in the block model of the universe, we can't change our past because that would create a contradiction, and if the universe is a block, there can't be any. Everything is happening at the same time. However, if everything is happening at once, and the past is what I say it is because our perceptions create the past, and the future is fundamentally the same as the past, then the future is also what I decide. This can be a comfort too. If the future is what I decide, then all my worries about what might come are meaningless. But there's even more. Scientists say that everything that can happen does happen, the many worlds hypothesis. All the possibilities of life, Chiyoko's confusing past, and contradictory occurrences, they all happened. If everything that could happen does happen, and did happen, then on some world, nothing bad happened. We experience our own world, but there is a world in which that thing that gnaws and eats away at our souls, well, it never happened. There must be an alternate world in which it did not happen because there are an infinite amount of worlds. And if there are an infinite amount of worlds, there must be a world in which the terrors and nightmares of our past did not happen as we recall them. And if that alternate world is just as real as ours, then why should we bother worrying about what happened in only one of the infinite ways our life turned out? Chiyoko's part memory, part movie reality is no more unlikely than what she genuinely experienced in her own world. If there are an infinite amount of worlds, then there must exist a world in which everything happened the way she told it. These are reminders that I tell myself when life becomes unbearable or when I feel self-destructive. I listen to my favorite movie soundtracks, usually Cloud Atlas, and I tell myself that these comforting philosophical thought experiments and theoretical quantum physics lessons that assure myself that nothing mattered, because the past isn't what people think it is, and because there's a world where everything worked out. I just happen to be the version of myself that's experiencing this world, the reality where it didn't work out. It doesn't always help, though. The nihilistic cry of nothing matters does not ease any pain. It's too abstract, and has little if any bearing on the day-to-day heartaches and unspeakable tragedies that befall us. Telling myself that there's a reality where I don't feel this way might be true or it might not, but if it is, that also means that, hell, why did I get stuck in this one? It's actually an awful feeling to be envious of an alternate version of yourself. Chiyoko was right, though. At the end of the film, she said that even if she didn't reach her goal in life, in this case finding a mysterious man she met in her youth, that the chase was enough. To not struggle and not try would make for a miserable life. Even in death, she has not finished her journey. That's another thing I tell myself, that my struggle is leading to something, to somewhere, to someone. And that it's only a matter of time before everything comes together, and if time exists all at once, then it already has.
Time is an illusion that helps things make sense, so we're always living in the present tense. It seems unforgiving when a good thing ends, but you and I will always be back then.